Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, when I first became Muslim, one of the things that became difficult was changing my perspective about music. In Islam, music is seen as haram, or unlawful, negative, and I didn't really understand why. But after looking at different hadith about singing and instruments, all of them make the distinction that this music is distracting from the path of Allah or even leading people away from Allah. And music in general is seen as risk of temptation in the fact that you see and dance to music in clubs where there's other non-mahram, non-family members who increase your risk of temptation, especially outside of marriage. And also, there's references to shaitan, Satan, using instruments to distract and lead people away from Allah. Similarly, there's the understanding that music can lead to a form of idol worshipping, i.e., the celebrities, the singers gain such status, such, pedestal like greatness that people create this whole worshipping attitude towards them. And of course, this is exactly against Islam, which is the worship of one God. And so, in understanding music this way, as a distraction, as idol, and just making music isn't seen as doing anything productive or for the sake of Allah. And then even furthermore going into idol worship, yeah, I can understand it's haram. However, there are tons of Muslims who are also musicians. And I think it changes due to the perspective of where that music is coming from and to what end they're making the music. My mom jokes that I was singing before I was talking, and music has always been a huge part of my life, involved in choirs, and when I was a Christian, I actually used to lead music in Vacation Bible School, was always part of the worship team, and I played cello for some time, and some piano, and music has always been such a awesome way for me to express myself and vent out my intense emotions in a way that writing and drawing and other art forms can't do for me. And in Christianity, there's many references to make a joyful noise and clapping and singing as worshiping Allah. Whereas in Islam, our form of worship is much more reverent and calm, seen in how we do our prayers and when we make dua. It's not a loud practice. And I think, again, it's a shift of perspective. What is considered worshiping Allah? And I've written songs for Allah previously, both as a Christian and a Muslim. And I view these songs as worshiping Allah because I don't sing them for me, for any sort of like reputation, in terms of I want to be famous, I want to do XYZ. I don't want this to turn into a prideful act. It's simply I'm using my voice, my abilities to worship Allah. And my voice has always been a calming thing, and has had a calming effect on animals and children, for the most part. And so I use it for these reasons, to calm and to direct attention towards Allah instead of away from Him. I think when I first became Muslim, I went really extreme in thinking I can't listen to any music, I can't do like any of this, I can't play cello or sing anymore. And I think it became very restrictive in that I was becoming resistant to Islam because it was quote unquote taking away something that I love to do. But that was what I had put on in my interpretation of Islam before doing research and before understanding that it's about that idol worship and also distraction from Allah. If I use my music as a means to highlight Allah and also worship Allah and calm His creations, this, in my view, is not haram. And some may disagree and still say that all music, it doesn't matter what it is haram. But there are many, like I said, musicians who are Muslim, and just enjoy one of the pleasures that we have on this earth. And again, I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think it is haram to enjoy music in your own perspective, in your own home. I can see where it can lead to temptation, i.e., going to clubs or going out and there's dancing and you're noticing the opposite sex, especially outside of marriage. It can lead to a whole lot of things. But if you are simply enjoying music for the sake of the music, composing, performing, just having fun, and especially when it's in your own home with your spouse or your family or friends, like, I think this is still a wonderful way to connect with people. And it's simply understanding where our attention is directed. Is our attention getting taken away from Allah, removing us or even distracting us from the path of Allah? Or is it a pleasure that we're enjoying in this world? Inshallah, more research and more perspectives from other Muslims can clear up this matter more. But I think it's important to note that Allah gave us many, many beautiful ways to express ourselves and talents that we can use to highlight His glory and beauty as well. Inshallah. May Allah keep you happy, healthy, and safe. Assalamu alaikum.